Hari Om. We'll chant from verse number 16. Etaddevaksharam Brahma Etaddevaksharam Param Etaddevaksharam Jnatva Yo yadicchati tasya tat Etadalambanam shreshtham Etad alambanam param Etadalambanam nyatva Brahmaloke mahiyate न जायते म्रियते वा विपश्चित् नायं कुतश्चिन्न बभूव कश्चित् अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे So Yamraj ji begins his teaching by pointing out the subtlest alamban, the support of realizing that supreme truth, and that is Om. So taking the support of Om, one can meditate, one chant, one meditate, one worships, and ultimately gain that state of enlightenment. So one has to understand the meaning of Om and also chant that Om and meditate on the meaning. But directly, what is the nature of that supreme reality is also indicated, that it is that which is not born. Na jayate mriyate va vipaschit. It is neither born nor does it die. Means I, the supreme self, the real I, is neither born nor does it die. What takes birth and what undergoes modification and change is the body. The body changes, the mind changes, everything changes, except that which is witnessing all this change. That doesn't change. It remains unchanged, free from all modification. So, Nayam kutaschit na babhuva kaschit. It is neither born from something, nor is something born from it. It is unborn and eternal. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Even when the body is destroyed, that self is not destroyed. If one thinks that by destruction of the body the self is destroyed, that person doesn't know. Ubhav tav na vijanitah nayam hanti na hanyate. That the destruction, it's just like electricity. The destruction of the bulb doesn't destroy electricity. The expression of that electricity as light stops. Similarly, the expression of Atma as life in that particular body stops. Fuse ho gaya bulb. But the Atma is not destroyed. So this is the subtlest, and one has to recognize that self through the path of meditation. So that is now being indicated in the next verse, verse number 20. Anoraniyan mahato mahiyan Atmasya jantor nihito guhayam Tamakratu pashyati vita shokaha धातु प्रसादान् महिमानमात्मनः अणोरणीयान् महतो महीयान् आत्मास्य जन्तोर्निहितो गुहायां तमक्रतुः पश्यति वीतशोकः धातुप्रसादान् महिमानमात्मनः. That Atma again is indicated. It is Anoho Aniyan. It is subtler than even Anu, an atom. It is subtler than the subtlest. Anoho Aniyan. Very subtle. See, subtlety is measured by its more pervasive also, more inner. Just as like these 5 elements, the Akash is the subtlest. Grosser than Akash is Vayu, air. Grosser than air is fire. So in fire we have air also, and Akash also is there present. But one doesn't recognize the presence of this subtler element, only we see the gross. But if we focus our attention, meditate on it, we will be able to understand the subtle. So the gross physical object is the grossest. Subtler than this is water. Subtler than that is fire. Subtler than that is air. Subtler than air is space. But subtler than space and all these 5 elements are our senses. Our senses are very subtle. So in order to become aware of our senses, we have to shift our attention from the objects to the senses. From what we are hearing to the one, to that through which we are hearing. We have to shift the attention from the object to that subject or to that instrument through which one hears. So that instrument is subtler than the 5 elements. But subtler than these senses is our mind. Mind is that which controls and which is connected to all the 5 sense organs. Mind is connected to them. Mind is as though having its 5 branches out in this world. So mind itself is as though through the senses become aware or sense the world. So mind is very subtle. Mind understands the language of all the 5 sense organs. It is very subtle. It understands the language of sight, sound, taste, everything. So mind is very subtle. But subtler than the mind is our intellect, which controls the mind, which understands the mind, which understands and can control the emotions and all of the mind. But subtler than the individual intellect is the cosmic intelligence. Our intellect is part of the cosmic intelligence. And subtler than that cosmic intelligence is that self, Atma. So Atma is very subtle. Anor Aniyan, subtler than the subtlest. But at the same time, that Atma Tattva alone is appearing like this world, which is so vast. So it is also indicated as Mahato Mahiyan, larger than the largest, greater than the greatest. Like space. Space can be there, very subtle. It is present in everything. Even a tiny little thing, it has got space. But at the same time, space is so vast that it includes all the great galaxies also. Similarly, Atma is very subtle, and at the same time, it is also vast, great, greater than the greatest. Mahato Mahiyan. So, how to recognize? Where is it? How to recognize that self? Says Atma asya jantoho nihito guhayam. It can be recognized in the cave of one's own heart. We have seen this before also. So jantoho means living being. All living beings are called jantu. So human beings are also jantu only. So this in the living beings, in their heart, you might say some living beings don't have heart. Heart means the very core of their being. In the very core of their being, what we have is the self. Because it is pervading everything. It is present in everything. So if it is present in everything, it is present in this body also. It is present in our mind also. It is present in our intellect also. So how is it present there? What is its sign? How do we experience its presence there? It is experiences the feeling of I. Aham, asmi, main hoon. That is the experience which we get because of the presence of the self. Because of the presence of the self, there is an experience of subject. I am. It is different from all other experiences. We experience the world, we experience sound, taste, touch, but there is also continuously the experience of I. I am seeing, I am hearing, I am walking, I am talking, I am sleeping, I am awake. So that experience of I, which remains constant right from our childhood till now, that experience is it doesn't have a break. Even when we are asleep, we are present. We are existing there. So that Atma, that from where we experience that I, where we experience our own presence very deeply, intimately, that is called the heart. So one has to dive deep within one's own heart through the process of meditation by taking our attention deeper and deeper within. For example, if I tell you to become aware of your body, one can not only become aware of the outer body, means the skin, outer, but we can also become aware of the inside thing, but for that we require little more subtlety. We can also become aware of what is happening inside our body. So we can shift our attention outside also and inside also. Similarly, we shift our attention in our mind and on the sense of I, that is like going within. So just as we contemplate or we think and go in and out, similarly one can meditate and go in and out. We can not only meditate on things outside, but we can also meditate on the inner equipments. So when we dive deep, as though within our own heart, we will be able to recognize that self. So this is a process of meditation, diving within your own heart. Because now we have a lot of other distractions. The self is not recognized as it is. It is as though covered, as though distracted by a lot of things which are not the self or the illusions. For example, if you are given, somebody offers you a nice chocolate, and if you eat it directly, it will not taste good. Why? Because it is wrapped. So one has to remove the wrappers. And when we remove, then the inner chocolate, nice and soft, which melts in your mouth. I don't want to describe because every attention will go there. So, similarly, every one of us, we experience the self. That is actually everyone has got self experience, self knowledge. But the problem is it is mixed with so many other things. Milavat hai usme. It is not pure. It is not refined. It is mixed with so many other experiences. So meditation is a technique by which we separate this self from all the non-self, which are like nonsense only, but non-self. It's separated through the process of meditation, attention. We have to see ourselves with the eyes of meditation. Dhyana avastita tad gatena pashyanti yam yoginah. In Gita Dhyanam also it is said that when the mind goes in the state of meditation, one sees oneself as we are. Because mind, whatever the thoughts are, depending on those thoughts we see. When I say I see the watch, there is a thought of the watch. So constantly there is thoughts are there, and constantly we are seeing something else. So through the process of meditation, the thoughts also become calm and peaceful. The mind becomes absolutely still, and in that stillness, we are able to see ourselves as we are. So who sees? Why not we meditate but nothing happens? Sometimes we fall asleep. So what is required? What are the qualifications required to dive deep within ourselves? Yamaraj says, Tam akratuhu pashyati vita shokaha dhatu prasadat mahimanam atmanaha. This mahima of the self is seen by whom? By akratuhu, one who is devoid of all desires, one who has got vairagya, one who has got no attachment nor repulsion for the world or the various pleasures of this world, will be able to dive deep. Because our attraction, attachment and repulsion keeps us on the periphery. They keep us on the periphery. But when I don't have any attachment to anything, I can dive deep within. It's like a person who is diving in water also. In the Olympics, they show those people diving into the pool. And if suppose they are all dressed up, suited, booted, coated with a tie and shoes also, then their diving will not be very smooth. First of all, they should be free from all this extra luggage and as slim, as smooth as possible. Then only they will be able to dive deep. Similarly, if we have the luggage of attachment, likes and dislikes. Likes and dislike makes us pay attention to them. We are attracted, we are bound to this world by our likes and dislikes. What we like also bind us, what we dislike also bind us. We are not only bound to our near and dear ones, but we are also bound with sometimes more with our enemies. Because they are also part of our life. So we are bound by what I like and what I dislike. If I have to dive deep within, I have to become free of both these, likes as well as dislike. That's called vairagya. It comes through vivek, through the initial sadhana. So, as we gain that vairagya, we will go deeper and deeper within ourselves. Because a lot of attractions are there as we go deep. One is that we have attraction of this world, but as we close our eyes, a lot of more attractions are there within our mind. Different types of images and different things are there in our mind which are more attractive. So to drop them also and go deep requires vairagya. So when we gain that, we will be able to go deep. So tam akratuhu, that term is very important. So one who is free from all desires. Such a person pashyati, comes to see the self. But one more thing is required, dhatu prasadat, mahimanam atmanah. That person sees the self with the blessings of dhatu. Dhatu prasadat. Here the meaning of dhatu, two meanings are there. Both are applicable. One, the meaning of dhatu is dhatru, one who is the one who holds the whole world, means Ishvara. By Ishvara's grace, one can go deep and will be able to recognize oneself. Means Ishvara means that samashti, that total, that consciousness controlling the totality. By its grace, one will be able to dive deep. That is one meaning, which is generally given by those bhaktas, devotees. But other meaning of that dhatu means our senses and mind and intellect, with the help of which we perceive, they are also called dhatu. And dhatu prasad means when, by their blessings means when they become pure. When our mind, our intellect, our senses, they are instrument to communicate with the world. When they are switched off, like our mobile is an instrument to communicate with the world. Some people find it difficult to switch off the mobile. But here we are talking about switching off your senses also. Mobile ki to dur ki baat hai. That also becomes difficult. But here we have to switch off our senses, our mind. They have to become absolutely still. They are instrument to interact with the world. But to know the self, we have to stop this interaction. So when the mind, the intellect, everything becomes absolutely still, in that stillness, by the blessings of that stillness, one comes to recognize oneself as we are. Mahimanam, all the wrapper of the chocolate falls off and one gets to eat the chocolate. So vita shokaha, and once we recognize ourselves, we become free of all shoka, all sorrow, all grief. So vita shokaha dhatu prasadat mahimanam atmanaha. One will be able to see the glory of one's own self. Though this world and everything we see is also our own glory. We are the secret, we are the mystery behind this entire cosmos. It may sound very blasphemous, whatever the pronunciation, but we are the mystery behind this entire cosmos. The secret. Science is trying to find the secret here and there, but secret is within us only. And once we recognize ourselves, we will be able to comprehend the mahima, the glory of this self. In the Veda it is said, Etavanasya mahima ato jaya ganscha purushaha. This self, this whole world which we see, just its outer glory, but it is much, much more than what we see outside. It is much more. So dhatu prasadat mahimanam atmanaha pashyati. So one is able to comprehend itself. So the self is so subtle that, as I said, it is indicated sometimes using very contradictory sort of statements. Like it is said that it is subtler than the subtlest, but larger than the largest. In the following verse also, the self is indicated. Since it is very subtle, very difficult to comprehend, the scriptures try to indicate it in so many different ways. So the next words, let us chant. Asino duram vrajati, shayano yati sarvatah, kastam madamadam devam, madanyo nyatumarhati. Asino duram vrajati, again very strange meaning it seems as on the surface. When we read this, asinaha duram vrajati, sitting at one place, this self goes very far. Sitting at one place, it goes very far. Asinaha means sitting at one place. Duram vrajati, it goes very far. Achha. Then shayanaha, sleeping. Yati sarvataha, it goes everywhere. So this seems very strange. Sitting at one place, it goes very far. And sleeping, it goes everywhere. See, the self is free from all changes. There is no going, there is no coming, there is no modification happening in the self. But the expression or this world which we see, which is the expression of that Prakriti, in that also the self is present. It is pervading the entire world. It pervades the body, mind, senses, everything. So, with respect to this body and all, it appears to be moving. It appears to be moving. For example, the sun is steady in the sky, but when we see its reflection in the waters, if the waters are moving, the sun appears to be moving. Similarly, the self appears to be moving when it is seen, identified with this body-mind equipment. So, asinaha duram vrajati, when it is seated at one place, but with respect to our senses or with our mind, it seems to be going very far. Though it is at one place, it's not going anywhere. But when the mind goes anywhere, the self is present there also. So, being at one place, sitting at one place, it seems to be going very far. Sitting at this place itself, our mind can, within no time, within seconds, it can go to the moon and come back. Yeah, many of you must have gone and come back now. To send a vehicle on the moon or on the Mars, they require so much of effort and technology and all. But the mind can just go faster than light. According to Einstein, nothing goes faster than light, but mind can go faster than light. Before you know, it takes a whole round of the world and comes back. So wherever the mind is, the Atma is there. So though seated at one place, it seems to be going very far. This is the style, the way of indicating it. And shayanaha, when we go to sleep, see, when we are awake and when we are identified with our senses, the Atma is also as though limited by this equipment, so it appears to go very far, though it is at one place. When we are asleep, temporarily, we lose all our identification with all our body, mind, intellect. A person who is asleep, he or she doesn't know anything. There is no identification with the body, mind, equipment. At that time, the self is identified with the entire cosmos. So, shayanaha, when asleep, it goes everywhere. And when seated, when we are awake, when we are identified with our equipment, it seems to go very far. So asinah duram vrajati, shayanah yati sarvatah. In various ways it is indicated. So Yamrajji is saying that if it is difficult to comprehend, then you should become like me. Yamrajji says, as a seeker, he had also purified his mind and made his senses also very calm and peaceful, and his mind, intellect also very pure. Hence, he was able to recognize the self. So he is using the statement. He says, "Kastam madamadam devam madanyo nyatum arhasi." Who else other than me can see this Atma? So this is not a statement of pride or something, but what he means is, other than seekers like me who have purified the mind, only can see that self. Nobody else. There is no corruption here. You cannot pay some special money or something and try to see the self. If you are pure, you will be able to see. It guards itself. So kastam madamadam devam, this deva which is madamadam. Madamadam means it is joy as well as beyond all joy. With respect to the mind and intellect, when the mind's senses become calm and peaceful, we experience happiness. That is also the happiness of the self alone. But at the same time, it is beyond this mind. So it is free from this happiness also. So this self which is both joy as well as beyond joy, that self, who else can see other than me? Madanyo nyatum arhasi. Who else can know other than me? So you should understand the real meaning of that other than me means one who has gained the right qualification will be able to recognize that self. Out of millions and millions of people, only rare few walk this path, and then those who gain this final qualification, they are able to see, gain that state of enlightenment. Everyone has got the ability to do it, but we have to walk this path and then gain that state of enlightenment. Further, in the next verse also, that Atma is indicated. Ashariram sharireshu anavastheshvavasthitam mahantam vibhumatmanam matva dhiro na shochati. Ashariram sharireshu matva dhiro na shochati. That Atma is ashariram. Sharireshu. Ashariram means it is devoid of body. Atma doesn't have any body. The self, pure self, is so subtle. It is subtler than the space and subtler than everything. It doesn't have a body. Ashariram. But at the same time, it is present in all the bodies. Human body, animal, bird, plant, everywhere the self is present. By itself, it doesn't have any body. Like space. Space doesn't have shape, doesn't have size. But it is present everywhere, and it takes the shape and size of the material in which, for example, the space is present in this watch, and it takes the shape of this watch. Similarly, the self is itself devoid of all bodies. It is very subtle, but it is present in all the bodies. Ashariram sharireshu. It itself is free from all changes. It is imperishable. But it is present in all the perishable objects also. So anavastheshu avasthitam. It is present in everything. Everything in this world undergoes modification, change, get destroyed. The self is present. When the object is destroyed, self is not destroyed. It is present everywhere, but it is not touched by anything. Nothing can touch it. It's like we see a movie on the screen. The screen is present in the entire movie. Sitting at one place, it goes everywhere. The screen. It is present everywhere. In the things which are changing, it is present, but it doesn't change. It itself doesn't have any form, but it takes the form of all that is seen on the screen. So similarly, the self is ashariram sharireshu, anavasteshu avasthitam, mahantam, it is great, it is the supreme. See, we are talking about you and me and everyone, I'm using the word it, but we are talking about ourselves only. Every day you come here and I'm praising you actually. So this should be kept in mind. Every day you come and listen to your praises and go. So when I say Mahantam, it is you and me who is Mahan, that self. Not recognizing, identifying with the body, we think our body is Mahan or our mind is Mahan. But the self is Mahan. Mahantam, the greatest. Vibhum, all pervading. Vibhum means all pervading, everywhere. There is nothing which is not divine. The divinity, the self is present in everything. It is equally present in a Tirtha Kshetra, in a holy place, and in the most unholy place also it is equally present. Not more, not less. Equally present. We go all the way to some holy places and all and then pray. The self is present, the God is present even in your kitchen equally. Not more, not less. तिरुपति में जितने भगवान है उतने ही आपके किचन में भी है. Then why go to Tirupati? If you see Bhagwan everywhere, then no need to go. But because we don't see, we need some support. We need some type of sadhana. But once you know how to look, then wherever you look, you will see Bhagwan only. Siya Rama mai sab jag jani. The whole world is Siya Ram. So Mahantam Vibhum, all pervading, Atmanam Matva, having realized this Atma. What is required is we have to realize the Atma. We have to recognize ourselves as we are, free from the disturbance of our mind and intellect and all. Recognize as it is. It's like suppose I am speaking or somebody is singing, and there are 10 other people who are talking and somebody else is singing badly and all. But one person is singing very nicely. To listen to that song, you have to really focus your attention. Then only we will be able to hear. Similarly, there is so much of noise of our mind, intellect that we are unable to recognize our own self. It is hidden. It is so hidden that it's quite amazing. Suppose I show you a rock. A huge rock is brought here and placed here. And if I tell you that ye Bhagwan Krishna hai, you will say, what is this? It is a rock. But an artist will be able to see Krishna in it. He will be able to see Krishna with the cow, Krishna, Murli, the whole thing he can see in that one rock. And first he sees that Krishna. Then he works on, does the sadhana. And what is his sadhana? Just to remove all that is not Krishna. जो कुछ भी कृष्ण नहीं है उसको निकाल दो. Mercilessly. And when he removes all that is not Krishna, even the finest particle is removed which is not Krishna, Krishna comes out in his whole glory and beauty. That is called meditation. कृष्णा हमारे अंदर है. द सेल्फ इज देयर प्रेजेंट, बट इतना बड़ा पत्थर बाहर है, उसको चिजल आउट करना चाहिए. वी हैव टू चिजल इट आउट थ्रू वैराग्य, थ्रू आवर मेडिटेशन. एंड व्हेन एवरीथिंग इज नेगेटेड, रिमूव्ड, we will be able to recognize ourselves as we are. Because now when we look at ourselves, it appears as though we are a stone, not Krishna. So that is important, that when we recognize ourselves, matva dhiraha, the wise seeker, should be wise, intelligent, not emotional. Emotional ka kaam nahi. One should be wise. So wise, intelligent seeker, when he or she recognizes the self, what happens? Na shochati, becomes free of all sorrow, all pain, all bondage. Na shochati. So this is the Atma Tattva. Hey Nachiketa, you have to meditate and recognize it. Now one may say that, oh, I am on this path. I have been listening to pravachan regularly. I have been doing a lot of contemplation. So by now, I should have recognized that self. So why I failed to recognize? In the next verse, a very popular and a very beautiful verse, Yamraj ji tells us who will recognize and who will not. He says, Nayamatma pravachanena labhyah na medhaya na bahuna shrutena yame vaishavrunate tena labhyah तस्यैष आत्मा विवृणुते तनुं स्वाम् नायमात्मा प्रवचनेन लभ्यः न मेधया न बहुना श्रुतेन यमेवैष वृणुते तेन लभ्यः तस्यैष आत्मा विवृणुते तनुं स्वाम्. So Yamraj says that na ayam atma pravachanena labhyah. This atma cannot be attained. Attained means one cannot realize it, one cannot recognize it. Only by listening to pravachan or giving pravachan. So both the the speaker as well as the listener, just by speaking on this and just by listening, one may not gain that Atma. Na ayam Atma pravachanena labhyah. He is discouraging us now. Half this mantra is discouragement, but other half is encouragement. So first we will look at the discouraging part. So na ayam atma pravachanena labhyah. Some people are expert in giving pravachan. They study the scriptures. They are expert in expounding. Everything becomes very clear, like, very nice. So just by speaking on that Atma or by listening to it, one cannot gain it. Na medhaya. Suppose a person is very bright and brilliant and is able to grasp what the scriptures are saying, then he should be able to gain that medha. Medha Shakti is the grasping capacity of our intellect. See, sometimes we listen but we don't grasp. सब ऊपर से चले जाता है. Therefore, there are so many holes you must have seen in all this. They are nothing but वो प्रवचन दे के वो होल बन गए वहाँ पर. So one don't grasp. But suppose somebody is there who can grasp what is said, Medha Shakti, grasping power. He says, नहीं नहीं आपको फिर भी it is not possible to realize that self. What about bahuna shrutena? If a person has listened to this for a long time, there are some people who are good listeners. For many years they listen. Some of them, they have listened to our Gurudev, then later on so many Swamis, this, that. बहुत सुना है. सुन के उनके बाल भी पक गए, कान भी पक गए और आम भी पक गया. So, na bahuna shrutena, it is not possible. Hare Bapre. Then all our sadhana is waste. He says no. So what is required? It's very important. It's a very deep psychological truth is revealed here. In the second line, he says, Yam eva esha vrunute. Vrunute means choose. One who chooses. Yam eva esha, one who chooses this Atma and Atma alone. Tena labhyaha, that person gains it. Even while listening to pravachan, we should listen after choosing to attain that self. One should choose, one should decide. It is not just if we just listen as a, just for entertainment, it is different. See, same listening, same thing, one person remembers, another doesn't remember. One person gets some, it transforms one person, but another person is not at all transformed. One should listen with that intensity, with the desire, with the choice. Like for example in Bhagavad also there is a story that Parikshit Raja listened to that Bhagavad with full attention and he gained that state of enlightenment. So one has to listen with choice. And one should choose. Yam eva esha vrunate, one who has chosen that self and self alone. That person gains it. As I said that day also I mentioned about that decision. We have to decide firmly that I want it. Then it is possible to gain. If that decision has not come, then it is not possible. I must have told this story that one person came to a village and he wanted to go to the temple. So there were many roads, so he did not know which road will go to the temple, which road he has to take. So there was this chai ki dukaan. So he sat there, ordered some tea and some hot pakodes. Tea and pakode should go together. They are like relatives. Anyway, so he ordered them and he kept his bag, everything down, and he was comfortably seated there, settled almost, eating that pakode slowly and drinking tea. And casually he asked the person, कि कौन सा road जाता है मंदिर के पास? That fellow did not reply. You must have seen some chai walas, they are just not interested. Sometimes they have their own mentality and psychology. So he did not reply. और पकोड़े बनाओ क्या साहब? अरे कौन सा रोड मंदिर में मंदिर के पास जा रहा है? चाय दूसरी बनाओ और he was not ready to reply. So he got really annoyed, but he continued to eat and drink that chai. Again he asked, again he was not ready to reply. Then he got really annoyed. He just picked up his bag and all. He paid him, he picked up his bag and just he started walking. As he went out, he said, oh, beach wala, oh, road le lo, that will take you to the temple. So he was surprised and quite annoyed also. He said, I was asking you till now, you did not reply. He said, that time you were not interested to walk. That time you were interested in eating. And it was just an academic question. You would have forgotten also afterwards and would have asked me again. But now you have decided to walk. So you will choose, you have chosen, you have decided. So now it's more effective. Similarly, many of us will listen to pravachan. But utna ekdam, there is no intensity. in many of us. Because चल रहा है, आज नहीं समझ में, कल समझेंगे क्या है. Intensity is not there. But suppose like Parikshit, the doctor said, 7 दिन में, राम नाम सत्य होने वाला है. Then the intensity will be different. Then our listening will be more intense, more deep. Then each and every word will touch us at a deeper level. Now it touches, bahari touch karta hai. Because we have so many other agenda in our life. ये भी करना है, वो भी करना है, बीच में प्रवचन भी सुनना है, बाद में जाके कहीं पार्टी में जाना है. So many other agendas are there. But when we have only one choice, when I have chosen that I want to recognize, realize that self, no other, I don't have any other agenda. If I realize it, very good, otherwise I will just die here. So when we choose that 100%, yam eva esha eva vrunate, one who chooses this Atma and Atma alone, then what happens? Tasya esha Atma vivrunute tanum swam. To that person, this self reveals itself. The self reveals itself to such a seeker. The self gets revealed to such a seeker who chooses choice. We have seen in the beginning of his pravachan also, Yamaraj talked about this Shreya and Preya. Choice. In this world, as a human being, we have choice. We don't have, we are given options. Lot of options are there. But in all options, we have the option to recognize our own self. The Shreya is always present, every time, every moment. So when we choose that Atma and Atma alone, with that choice when we listen to pravachan, with that choice when we contemplate, with that choice when we do our sadhana, it becomes more effective. Suppose now you are listening to my pravachan, you are comfortably sitting quietly and listening, very good. But, and if I ask you, chalo aaj kya kya maine sunaya hai, many of you might not remember everything, some few here there you will remember. But suppose I tell you that I will give this pravachan, but afterwards you have to remember, you have to repeat it completely to me. Without even taking notes, you have to just listen and remember. Then your listening will be different. And you will remember more. Why? Because you have chosen to remember. You have chosen to listen more carefully. Your listening will be different. Ears are same, but our attitude behind listening changes. It differs. Similarly, when we listen with the attitude of listening and choosing that Atma alone, it is a different story altogether. Otherwise, it is like every day you watch a serial, you enjoy, you forget what happened, next day again. Every day we enjoy, but it may not touch us at a deeper level. So this is a very important and a very, important thing which Yamaraj tells us about choice. So yame vaisha, yam eva esha vrunate tena labhyaha, tassesha atma vivrunate tanum swam. To that person who chooses, to that person the self gets revealed. Reveal ho jata hai. So this is a very important psychological fact which one has to keep in mind. Then there are other sadhanas and other preparation which we have to do. That is also said now in the following words. Na virato duscharitat, na shanto na samahitah, na shantamanaso vapi, प्रज्ञानेनैनमाप्नुयात्. ना विरतो दुश्चरितात् ना शांतो ना समाहितः. Those who have not developed certain qualification of their mind and intellect and attitude, it becomes difficult to comprehend that self. All these qualifications are required. See, the self-realization is a serious matter. Just one wants to just enjoy and just somehow live a peaceful life. It's a different story. Many people just want to be just happy in this life somehow and then die. But even if we happily die, again we are born. So that is not the end of the story. But those who are interested to gain this self-knowledge, it's a serious path. So he says that na avirato duscharitat, one who has not given up duschcharit, bad conduct. So first step in our sadhana is the conduct should be good. That is the first. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra also, Patanjali Rishi gives 8 steps to attain that state of enlightenment. 8 steps. Many people want steps, no? They want to have a clear path. First kya karna hai, second kya karna hai. So he has given 8 steps to attain that state of enlightenment. And they are so scientific, if you follow it sincerely, you reach there. Even blindfolded, one can reach, if you follow those paths, steps. So the first 2 steps are about charitra only. The first yama and niyam, what Patanjali Rishi says, is ahimsa, satyam, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, shaucha, santosh, tapas, swadhyaya, ishwar, pranidhan. This is about certain disciplines which we have to follow in our life. So ahimsa, non-violence, satyam, truthfulness, ahimsa, satyam, asteya, non-stealing, non-corruption and all. So ahimsa, satyam, asteya, brahmacharya, self-control, aparigraha, non-hoarding, not accumulating too many things. Then shaucha, cleanliness, santosh, contentment, tapa, austerity, swadhyaya, self-study, and ishwar pranidhan, surrendering, creating attitude of surrendering to God. So these are the charitra which one has to develop, a way of life. So that is the outermost preparation to go within. Then he talks about asana, pranayam, pratyaha, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. And each steps are subtler and subtler than the previous one. So here Yamraj says that if it becomes difficult for you to do your sadhana, then check this. Just as when we buy a car or some machine, if it is not working, then there is the manual, it comes. If you bought a nice what you call computer or TV or some washing machine and all, and it is not working, सब on करके देखा कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, then you open the manual, check it. आपने वो plug ठीक तरह से लगाया क्या? Then you check the plug नहीं लगाया है, गलती से दूसरा ही plug लगा. Every time you put it on, something else starts making noise. So then you put the right plug. So all those things are there. Similarly, if our sadhana is not progressing, then we have to see whether our charitra is better, good. So na avirato duscharitat. And charitra is this only: ahimsa, satyam, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. You just follow these 5, the famous 5. In whatever you do, just see that these 5 are followed. Ahimsa, see that your conduct doesn't harm anyone. Nobody should get hurt or disturbed or harmed by your activity. Don't practice your singing early in the morning. It will disturb the neighborhood. One person came, he said, I have come to repair your piano. He said, but we never complain. He said, your neighbors complain. So the first thing is ahimsa. Then second, ahimsa satyam, that in at all levels of our personality, we should follow this path of satyam, truthfulness. Whatever we do, it should be truthful. We should be truthful. So ahimsa satyam, asteya, non-stealing. Don't take things which don't belong to you. Don't steal. Non-stealing. Ahimsa satyam asteya, brahmacharya. Don't consume more than what is required for you. Don't consume more than what is valid for you. It is not only as an individual, but also as a society. There are some countries which are consuming more, and it becomes harmful for others. So don't consume more. More electricity, more water, more this, all is against brahmacharya only. So don't consume more than what is required. And aparigraha, don't accumulate more than what is required. So when we follow this sincerely in whatever, whether we are Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, if we follow these 5, then the world will become more harmonious and peaceful. इतना बड़ा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन भी लिखने की ज़रूरत नहीं. We just have to follow these 5 sincerely in all its dimensions. Ahimsa satyam. Ahimsa not only to other human beings, but we should see that our activity doesn't disturb the other animal, creatures, even environment. Even there should not be himsa towards environment, towards the earth and towards other environment. So, if we follow this sincerely, we will be able to go within. Otherwise, the prakriti, the nature will hold us back. It will not allow us to go. It will say, आपने ये सब disturb किया है, उसका पैसा भरो पहले, and then you can go. It will not allow. We will not be able to dive deep if we have not created harmony with the surrounding. And that harmony can be created with these 5 important values. So, na avirato duscharitat, one who has not given up duscharitra. Na ashantaha asamahitaha, one who is not shanta, one who has not quietened the mind. When we follow these values, the mind will start becoming more and more quiet. Somewhere we are doing himsa, so mind becomes restless. Somewhere we are lying, therefore the mind becomes restless. Somewhere we are taking things which are not ours, mind becomes restless. When we follow these 5 values, the mind will start becoming more and more peaceful. So shantaha, those who are not shanta, difficult. Asamahitaha, whose the mind is not focused, concentrated. We require that focus of the mind also to do the sadhana of meditation. So dharana. Dharana means focus, concentration. One whose mind is not concentrated, not focused towards one's goal, will also not be able to attain that goal. Na ashanta manaso vapi. Again, similar thing, that one whose mind is not tranquil, one who has not calmed the mind, made it free from all desires and all attachment. If that mind has not become free from all attachment and has not become calm, then such a person, prajnanena enam na apnuyat, even with knowledge, that person will not be able to gain that state of enlightenment. May be able to gain lot of knowledge, but will not be able to meditate, will not be able to gain that state of enlightenment. So knowledge alone is not helpful. Knowledge should culminate in meditation. For example, if a person has got all the knowledge about sleep, there are some sleep specialists also who has done research and who knows everything about sleep, but cannot sleep. Hmm? So what is the use of that knowledge? So knowledge should culminate in meditation. Huh? So then only one will be able to gain the self. We shall chant from verse number 23. नायमात्मा प्रवचनेन लभ्यः न मेधया न बहुना श्रुतेन यमेवैष वृणुते तेन लभ्यः तस्यैष आत्मा विवृणुते तनूं स्वाम् नाविरतो दुश्चरितात् न शान्तो न समाहितः न शान्तमानसो वापि प्रज्ञानेनैनमाप्नुयात्. So na ayam atma pravachanena labhyah. Yamraji is telling Nachiketa that this atma cannot be attained or realized just by listening to pravachan or by giving pravachan or by grasping or by listening to lots of shrutis, different types of scriptures. There is no guarantee that one will gain the state of enlightenment. Because what is required is we have to choose. Choice. Because when we choose to gain that enlightenment, then things start happening. Because when we choose the self, then we have to drop all that is not the self. The vairagya also happens through choice. So he says that yam eva esha vrunate tena labhyah. One who chooses this Atma and Atma alone will gain this by the blessings of that self alone. So tassesha Atma vivrunate tanum swam. The self reveals itself to one who chooses. Also, we have to develop certain qualification, freedom from all bad conduct, peacefulness of the mind, control over the mind, control over the senses. All these qualities, if they are not there, then even if we gain knowledge, we will not gain that state of enlightenment. Because the preparation of the mind is very important. When the mind becomes calm and peaceful, then we come to realize the self. If the mind is not calm, peaceful, then we might theoretically understand it, but we will not be able to realize it. So in order to realize, gain the direct experience of the self, the mind should become calm and peaceful. Means the mind should not interfere. Because of the rajogun, tamogun, the interference is there of the mind. When it stops interfering, one comes to abide in one's own self. So the self is very subtle and it cannot be comprehended without all this qualification. So the subtlety or the speciality of that self is indicated in this last verse of this section, 25. Yasya brahma cha kshatrancha ubhe bhavata odhanaha mrityuryasyopasecananka इत्था वेद यत्र सः यस्य ब्रह्म च क्षत्रं च उभे भवत ओदनः. So this self is very difficult to comprehend because it is such that for it the Brahma and Kshatram is nothing but food. Here it is in a very symbolic way that it is indicated. So for that self, Brahma means a Brahmana, Kshatra means a Kshatriya. A Brahman and Kshatriya are like cooked rice, odana, means Atma eats them. He just eats all the Brahmanas, so be careful. And he eats the Kshatriyas also. And what about Yamrajji, Mrityu? He says, Mrityu yasya upasechanang. Mrityu becomes like a chutney. Upasechan means the extra thing which we have, like pickle on the side. So it is like a pickle for that Atma. So if Atma is of this nature, even the Brahmanas cannot comprehend it because it swallows that Brahmana. The Kshatriyas also cannot comprehend itself. Even the Mrityu Devata cannot comprehend. So what to talk about ordinary person? How can one know what is that self or where it is? So this is a very symbolic statement here. The Brahmanas represents the Sattva Gun. The Kshatriyas, they represent the Rajogun. And the Mrityu represents the Tamogun. And these are the three gunas of Prakriti. So when the three gunas of Prakriti are in perfect equilibrium, then there is no expression in the form of this world. But when the equilibrium of the Prakriti gets disturbed, then the world is projected. There are 24 tattvas in this world, 24 basic elements, which includes our mind, intellect, the senses, and the organs of action. So these are the equipment with which we generally know the world. But here, knowing the self is a different game altogether. One has to trace back our journey back to the source. So as our mind, first the tamogun has to be sacrificed. Tamogun become less and less in our personality. Then rajogun also is restrained. And finally, the sattva gun, when it comes in our mind, the mind becomes extremely calm and peaceful. And that sattva gun also gets swallowed as though in that supreme, and we come to attain that state of enlightenment. So it is not experienced through the senses or through the mind or through the intellect, but it is experienced when all these are as though offered to that supreme or it gets dissolved. Just as food, the food doesn't remain separate from the one who eats. So when we eat the food becomes one with me. Similarly, all these three gunas dissolve as though in that supreme, and that itself is like attaining that state of enlightenment. So it is very subtle. We cannot comprehend it with our mind. We cannot comprehend with our intellect. But there is a process. It doesn't mean the scriptures are trying to avoid explaining it, but there is a process of meditation which later on the Upanishad also will describe. So if we follow that process, what happens is the three gunas, they cancel each other and the self alone is recognized. This very beautiful example is given in Atma Bodh by Bhagwan Shankaracharya. He says it is, one can imagine a water which is little muddy. We put some alum powder. So what happens? All the dirt slowly settles down and clear water is seen. So similarly, our mind and all which is muddy, with the help of our sadhana and ultimately with knowledge, we settle down all the dirt and the self gets revealed by itself. So one should not have the feeling that we will know that self with the help of our senses or mind or intellect, but it is known when they become calm and peaceful. It's like going into a different state. Like, for example, from our waking, we go into deep sleep state. We cannot carry our waking day experiences, or we cannot carry the waking objects and all into sleep. When we drop this waking world, we get transported into sleep. Similarly, when all this waking, dream and deep sleep is dropped, one gets established in that supreme self. So it is very subtle. So thus, Bhagwan Yamraj ji concludes his teaching, this second Valli. So iti Kathakopanishadi Pratham Adhyaye Dvitiya Valli. So there are these two chapters, and in each chapter there are these three Vallis. Vallis means section. So thus concludes the second section. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.